For over 20 years, video games have given players endless amounts of enjoyment. Whether the games were simplistic and fun like Super Mario, or were complex and strategic like Tetris, early game titles promised a fun activity. Games were about suspending the player's sense of reality and delving into their own imagination. However, current games now incorporate programs and more advanced systems that try to accomplish realistic settings in gameplay.
I think games should be in consoles that can interact with you, kind of like the Nintendo Wii.
It's so real now. It's such a big improvement on what there was years ago. You almost don't know what could they do next. Could we see these personal virtual visors that we can go out to Best Buy and pick one up?
Well, this is of course on virtual reality, augmented reality, so the promise and the threat of that is that it's even better than the real thing, to refer to the song, that it's better than the real thing and that it has an addictive quality, as games do. So how much time in world do you prefer to be? How much out of the flesh, as it were, do you prefer to dissociate yourself from? And how real does it need to be? Poses the issue of, does it have to be convincing enough that you forget that you have a body and that you are totally immersed in the experience enough to warrant forgetting, like seeing a really good movie and forgetting that you're there for the last 40 minutes. In a game interface, it's very limited as to what you can do. You have to do a mapping of what controls do what actions. So forward, backwards, left, right, scan, pan, shoot, pick up. There might be 16 different sorts of options that you can do. As opposed to simply reaching out and picking something up like you do in the real world.
So how can video game techniques apply to real-world applications? Flight simulators are one perfect example of gaming taken to another level of purpose. Simulators can be considered as another form of gaming, but in this case, the action performed on the controls in game mimic the realistic actions needed to operate, in this case, how to fly a plane. The controls, buttons, panels, seats, everything here is needed to help familiarize the person with the controls of the aircraft. Even the CG displayed in the window is realistic enough to convince the pilot that they must take the simulation seriously. Driving simulations are another great example of a game setting used to train the etiquette and habits of driving. Toyota has used this simulator to help test the reflexes of the vehicles as well as the driver in order to help improve the design and versatility of their vehicles. Home is a recent 3D online community available only for the Sony PlayStation 3 console. Each user can design their character to resemble their physical appearance and facial characteristics. The network is divided into public and private spaces. Public spaces allow you to socialize with large numbers of people, whereas private spaces are your personal space for you to design the interior and invite other users or friends. Users can also meet up with other users through Home to play multiplayer games together. With all of these options in mind, it seems that Home attempts to mimic real-life social interaction and also offers more activity through the online setting. Clearly, the attempts to achieve new levels of reality are on the rise for future gaming. We have seen that a gaming experience can go from a simplistic task to complex renditions of realistic actions like flying a plane or driving a car. These examples bode well for the future of gaming, which will hopefully promise virtual experiences with epic proportions.